Welcome back to the finals. So, fitting with the name of this game, this is going to be the final time we really get a look here, at least for this beta. However, this game doesn't have a release date, at least not one that I've been able to find. So, perhaps there will be another beta down the line. Assumedly, this will be a free-to-play game at some point when it comes out, considering all of the microtransactions that are in the game that have been sort of made much easier to purchase during this beta. But why don't we grab right into this? As you can see, I've got the shotgun that I unlocked last time. Now, I guess maybe before jumping in, actually, let's just take a quick assessment of the three contestants specifically. I think the medium contestant is the go-to obvious best build. And my reason for this is simply because of the jump pad. The jump pad and the AK, obviously there are other guns for you to unlock, you know, pump action grenade launcher, different assault rifle. I don't know how much better this is because I haven't unlocked it, though I could begin to, though this is the last day of the beta, so unlikely I will get there. The model 1887 is all right though, but the AKM is, I find, to be the best gun in the game, both from a kind of satisfying gunplay sort of view as well as a accuracy over the multiple distances that the game presents you with. It's sort of what gun you pick really depends on what map you're on and how much you expect another opponent to, shall we say, blow the doors off and the walls off of the building that you're in trying to accomplish your task. So if that is happening, you know, maybe you can have some close range stuff if you're actually fighting indoors, but in almost all circumstances, AKM is going to be your best bet. The healing beam is also great, though I do actually think this Guardian turret is probably my favorite thing. Though I haven't, it's funny because I say the medium build is the best. It's not the build that I've been using the most. The build that I've been using the most is the heavy build. Because I quite like its kind of charge and slam thing, though I am in the process of unlocking the goo gun. Whether or not I will get that unlocked and try it out, we will find out. As for the weapons of the heavy, I said this in the last video, but I think the sledgehammer is horrendous. I think the melee weapons are really pointless in this game because you're never gonna really be inside in like in a situation where your opponent has no choice but to fight you in that kind of close range. It's sort of absurd in a game that is so much about destructibility. And in fact, like the sledgehammer, you're kind of meant to be using it to destroy the building as well. So I unlocked the grenade launcher, which I found the only real use to just be blowing up walls. And you don't really need it. So I've been using the shotgun that we unlocked. I find the, where is it? The M60, I find to just not be very good, especially when comparing it to the AKM, sorry. Now, the shotgun is pretty good in close quarters. However, obviously it's terrible outdoors. And also it does this very frustrating thing where after 4 shots, you have to sort of cock it again, and then you fire 4 more shots. So despite it being, you know, it explains here by saying a quad tube magazine, which makes the gun very, shall we say, in the exact moment you need it to not do that, it will do that, right? You'll fire 4 shots, and if you haven't killed your opponent, well, guess what? They're going to kill you while you're waiting for the gun to kind of move to the next quad tube. And that's why I, despite playing mostly with the heavy, do not think the heavy is as good. Also because I don't think charge slam and goo gun and mesh shield are as good as the medium build's abilities. Now, the light build is, I think, the specialist build, right? You've got the grappling hook, which is fantastic, right? Like, grappling hook is a grappling hook. However, the grappling hook, the physics of it, and it's kind of a larger complaint I have with this game as a whole, the physics of it are not great. And with this game in general, the physics are not great. The M11 is fine. I just don't really like any of the particular abilities, nor do I look at any of the weapons and think, oh, that's something I want to get. Like, you see the sword and you go, maybe, like, if you're really crazy, which, you know, the game's there for you to be real crazy, right? So I just think this medium build is where to go, is how to do, is where to be, is what you're doing. Again, one of the things I didn't quite discuss enough in the last video was the fact that despite there being all of these customization options, you're sort of going into the game with kind of one backup set of equipment and a weapon. So during the game, when you die, sort of like other shooters, you can swap weapons, but only with the one that you put in this slot, right? You're not going to be able to just, you know, if I don't take the revolver, not going to be able to switch the revolver mid-match. So that part of it is interesting tactically. So far hasn't quite come up too much for me though. As far as the, you know, kind of unlocking goes, it's pretty much exactly what you would think, as well as the store. It's pretty much exactly what you would think. You know what? We've got the money. So why don't we buy this bundle? Boom. Let's have a little change going into this final thing. There we go. Equip everything. Looking cool, looking snazzy, great techwear. Big fan of Death Stranding, so I don't mind a little bit of drippy techwear. And look at that. Very cool. Got the AKM. Let's get in a game. We're gonna go quick cash again. One of the things I actually didn't finish stating last time was that the quick cash is 3v3v3. And I mentioned that the tournament was, you know, a tournament. You know, you're gonna play multiple rounds rather than just the one game with quick cash. However, the thing I didn't state was that this tournament mode is 4. It's 3v3v3v3, which changes things up a little bit, as you might imagine. Now, here's the thing though. Like I said last time, all your enemies are the same color. You cannot distinguish your teams, so all it does is kind of add more players to the playpen. It doesn't necessarily, at least initially, change too much tactically. And sort of the way that it works is you do a 3v3v3v3, and then 2 of the teams from that go through to the next round, and then there's another 3v3v3v3 from, you know, the 2 winning teams of another game, and, you know, there you go. That's how the tournament goes. Now, Seoul is actually my preferred map. The other one is Monaco, which I don't like as much. I do like this map more. I like this sense of verticality that it gives. The other one has verticality too, but because it's much more normal, as in, you know, buildings on ground, and, you know, you can get to the top of those buildings, but then you're falling down to the ground. This one where, you know, you'll kind of fall to your death if you fall off the map, I find just more interesting visually, more interesting as a sort of like, oh no, you know, gotta be careful here. All right, we've got we got this person playing a light build. Oh, this person's got a grenade launcher that they've sort of popped on here. So that'll be quite interesting to kind of see what their plan is to do. Now, I find that this game really needs communication. Now, a game like Valorant, you can sort of get away with playing it on the easier difficulty, kind of quote unquote. You know, playing it casually without talking too much. However, I think this game is more difficult to do, harder to be casual and not talking, because it's so easy for a team that is talking to just absolutely demolish you if you're not talking. Oh, well, unfortunately for me, neither of my teammates decided to help me shoot those people. That was an interesting decision for us to make. Oh. Where'd they go? Wow. That SMG is an impressive amount of damage, I'll tell you. So after talking a big game about thinking that the AK is the best gun in the game, I've been systematically demolished twice. Now, I'm not very good at this game. However, I have won actually quite a lot of games, surprisingly, because I'm quite good at remembering to actually accomplish the task, which sometimes I have teammates who are quite good at killing, and less good at accomplishing the task. In fact, weirdly enough, the best team I ever played on in this game was a team where I was the one that was really focused on accomplishing the task. One of the guys was really focused on killing, and the other guy was basically just reviving the two of us, like reviving the other teammates, and that was his entire focus. And so it ended up being that like I ended with like 9 kills, the guy focused on killing ended with about 11 kills, and then my teammate who was focused on reviving only had 1 kill. But we won the game because we sort of... Okay, why haven't I just got boosted there? Oh, this is... There we go. Did I just see red? No. Like, well, yes, but just not... Oh. Now, the shotguns do have some range to give them a little more ability to, you know, be useful. But I often find that it's not enough. Especially when you can just fire a lot of machine gun fire. Ooh. Oh, no. Now that gun. Oh, well, that was a well-placed grenade. So yeah, unfortunately, for me at least, not too good at the game. Now, one of the fun tactics, I think, involved with this game is the fact that you have like a revive token, as you can see there, kind of on the screen there for a second. You know, you've got this little revive, what would you call it? Like a Monopoly, kind of figurine. And you can actually pick that up. So your teammate could go, and as you can see, he's trying to do a quick revive there. Your teammate is actually able to kind of grab your... Oh, I should be respawning here. Your teammate is able to grab it, take you to a little safer spot, shall we say, and go ahead and give you a little revive. Now, I'm gonna see if I can... Okay, Why? Okay, so usually that revives them in a single hit, but I must not be hitting it right. So, here's my biggest complaint with this game, and this... Or actually, you know what? I have 2 very large complaints with this game. I'm gonna actually do the second biggest one first. The second biggest one... Oh no, we failed to get the objective. So, my second biggest complaint with this game is I think the destructibility is actually kind of ruins the game a lot of the time. And what I mean by that is despite the fact that the destructibility is very cool in a lot of circumstances, one of the things I've found, especially on the other map, especially on Monaco, is you will get caught on geometry so much. So you can just have a bunch of bits. You know, like someone can blow up a bit of a building and all of a sudden there's just all these bits of a building. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, he looked up. And all of a sudden there's just these... That was so slow, by the way, to get up that thing. you don't realize how slow it is to get up those things until all of a sudden you're being shot on one. So all those bits kind of being able to be caught... Oh! So I pressed E... So I pressed E there, and then it didn't look like it animated that I grabbed on. Maybe you know, you can see that in the video. It didn't look like it animated that I grabbed onto the thing. So I pressed it again, and of course that meant that then the guy grabbed it and then let go. So even if you don't see the game animate that you've done something, you're just gonna have to take a leap of faith, for lack of a better word there. How do I respawn here? So there's just there, and you know what? There's a lot, I do have a lot of minor complaints like that with the game. Like I think the animations sometimes aren't great, like in those cases. But those are minor complaints that can be fixed, and you know, some of them chalk up to user error, right? Like, you know, it's gonna happen. However, the two complaints that I have that I genuinely I think really stop this game from actually being very playable, and I think really stop it from being viable as a game, certainly that I would want to play long term. Which, again, one of them being the destructibility, which seems like it would be a good thing. And then, oh, come on, before someone shows up. All right. So, being that sort of destructibility and then, you know, all of a sudden you're getting caught on a bunch of geometry. I got kind of like pushed through the map because of the destructibility, all happening in a very small enclosed space. Now that's why you don't want to get caught slipping like that. Oh no. Oh wow, they just... Nope. I gotta hide. That guy wanted me. See, now you understand. Wait, why are you... Oh, okay.
One contestant left for the live wires.
All right. There we go. And so yeah, so I've sort of been like pushed through the map because of, but like let's say in a room this size, exploding and bits falling everywhere. I've been sort of pushed through the map because there was so much stuff everywhere that you actually kind of couldn't move. You would get trapped by it. And from that point on, even, you know, let's say you then died because someone shot you because you couldn't move at all. If you then came back to it, which, you know, as you can see from the objective, you sometimes literally have to come back to it to try to get the objective again. Well, now there's just a bunch of stuff in the way. And you would think like, okay, well, tactically that's... Hold on. Oh, see, I've almost just had it happen there. Now, while you might think tactically that sounds quite interesting, you know, maybe you can just get so much debris on top of the thing that people can't get to it. I would argue that that's actually kind of a problem with the game and not a benefit, not an interesting tactic, because what you sort of then end up having is people kind of keep trying to do destructibility, and it is very random and very chaotic, and it sort of takes away the skill, and it's the thing that stops, you know, for example, here's the example that I would give with why the destructibility being so random and problematic is an issue. Super Smash Bros., which, you know, is played at EVO, or at least was played at EVO for a very long time, is maybe the most random and chaotic game that one could have at a sort of fighting game thing. Now, oh, all right, I got a problem. Yeah. Okay, so the guy who jumped down with me was an opponent. I did not even realize. I thought it was maybe one of my guys because I could tell that they were both there. So here's the reason why it's a big problem. So Super Smash Bros. Most random game, right? Because Smash Bros. Oh my god. Oh wow. This is a bad place right now. They don't even realize that there's a guy in the room with them. He's in the elevator. So Smash Bros. when they play it as a competitive fighting game, they take away the random objects, right? They try to turn it as close to a fighting game as they can, like any other fighting game. Take away all the random chance that they can do. And that's the idea, right? Like that's and they have to do that to make it actually work competitive. So this game sort of has the same problem where in order to actually be a real competitive game, they would actually need to get rid of the destructible environment, which would also then defeat the purpose of the entire game, I think. And so I think that's a big problem the game has. Now, you know, maybe it gets a big enough audience of people who like that, certainly, but I just never think it will be taken for real as a competitive game like that. And it's clear that they kind of want to be a competitive game because, well, all of the trappings of this game are to be a crazy competitive game, right? That was not great. Oh no. Oh, I have a problem. Oh. Oh, wow. Is that a shotgun? The range, you know what? Take back everything I said about the shotgun. The range on that is atrocious. Like, which one was that? That must have been the third. You know what? I did say the 1887 was pretty good. So, you know, I think it was that one. You know, tapping my nose here. So that's one of the things that I think is a big problem with the game. I just don't think it will be able to be taken seriously as a real competitive game with that in the game. Now, it is much less a problem on this map, though, which is one of the reasons I like this map more. On Monaco, it's abysmal. You got like falling houses on like string that you can blow up, and it's a nightmare. You just cannot. It's really bad. Oh, wow. I'll be honest. I thought I was for sure gonna die there. There we go. We won. All right. Well done, everybody. High fives all around. So, yes. You know what? That's all we're going to play for this video, but I will finish by saying the other problem, which is actually, interestingly enough, we didn't come up with that problem here. And you know what? No one actually had the problem, so that's very good. The biggest problem with this game is, without a doubt, the fact that you can enter the game with only 2 people on your team. And then the game does not then matchmake a third person into the team. And it is diabolical. It is like, I cannot stress enough that it makes the game horrendous. You know what? I've had a game that, there was one team with 3 players and then 2 teams with 2 players. And my team, me and my partner, as we were no longer, I guess, a team, we're a partnership, ended up winning it, you know, which is incredible. Ooh, look at this. Oh, so many things. Goo gun, skins. So that was kind of the exemption rather than the rule. The other games where that would happen, and it has happened quite a few times, were kind of abysmal experiences when, especially if you have like a 3v3v3v3 and you're the only team with 2 people, you are just absolutely screwed. And it's the worst. And I'm shocked that, like, you know, this is a beta, so it is things to work through, but this is, I think, the absolute worst problem that they absolutely have to fix. You just have to matchmake a third person in there. I know that a lot of competitive games do not put another person in there. I'm thinking specifically of Valorant at the moment. I know that other games don't do this as well. But, you know, Valorant 5v5, if a person drops out of the game, they do not put another person in, right? They do not drop a person in when the game is going. But I think this is a mistake. Now, on ranked, makes sense, right? On whatever the game's considered ranked mode is, this makes perfect sense. You know, you're not just going to put someone in the middle of a ranked game. I understand that. I don't agree with it, but I understand it. However, for casual play, I think it is a sin to not matchmake a random person into the game, no matter at what point the game is. And it's so easy to overcome this issue by simply taking away the negatives for losing and adding more positives for participating. In ranked, this is easy, right? Because there are no, in casual, there are no negatives for participating even if you lose. So, you know, it's a give me. Just, like, I get that people might not want to enter in a game that's already going, but you just got to put them in there. Like, you just got to put them in there, and you need to entice them to succeeding, right? Like, let's say they're going into a game that is mid-play, you give them double coins or whatever, you know, this currency, right? Like, they can earn double the XP if, you know what, there we go, better, because XP, you know, the coins they'll probably be selling and yada, like, you know, give them double the coins, but they won't. But double XP on, like, I'm trying to unlock this thing, why not, right? Like, if you win right now, joining this game, you know, mid-round, double XP, you know, give some sort of bonus. And I honestly think you could do it in ranked as well, like, but in ranked, rather than giving a, you know, bonus to upping your rank or whatever, instead you just take away the negative from losing. And it's one of the big problems I think competitive shooters have in their ranked is someone quits part of the way in, and then, you know, the negative for the person that quits isn't actually that big a deal, right? Like, it can be, but it's ruined the fun for everybody else. Just matchmake someone else in, make it worth it their time to try to build this up, take away, and then if someone quits, then the people still on the team don't receive negative to their rank if they lose, right? Easy way to balance these things. Now, Valorant doesn't do this, and I think it's a problem. This game does not do it either. I think it's a big problem, and in fact, I think it's a bigger problem with this game because this game is much more chaotic, much more random, and when you are missing a player, unlike Valorant, when you're down to 80% strength, this game, you are down to 60% strength, right? Well, you know, if you want to be precise, 66.6. infinite. You're down much more strength. It is really difficult to win if you are a 2-person team against 2-3 people teams. I think that has to be fixed, and I think all competitive shooters kind of need to be fixed in a way, but at least in this game, it feels an even bigger negative. So those are kind of the two main complaints I have with the game. I don't think either of them will be solved, if I'm being completely honest. I think the destructibility is too core to kind of the style and feel that they go for in this game. I do think that will probably kill it as a competitive shooter. Like, you can rubber stamp this as I look like a fool when this is the next League of Legends on the competitive scene, but I don't see it happening because, again, there's a reason why they take items out of Smash Bros. When it's played competitively. The idea that someone can blow up the house that the objective is in, and then everybody is all of a sudden getting stuck on geometry is a nightmare. Like, it's cool in casual, but this game clearly wants to be competitive. It's the trimmings of it are being a competitive shooter, right? It has the announcers in game. I just don't think that's gonna work. I think there's a game here to like. I think there's a game here to enjoy. Who knows when it's coming out, but I don't think it's going to be successful competitively, at least as it is, as it currently is. I don't think it's going to be successful competitively. And I must admit, I don't particularly think it's going to be that successful casually either. I think there is a game here to like, and I think it will find some sort of audience, but do I think it's going to hit Valorant? Do I think it's going to hit Apex? Do I think it's going to hit these other shooters? No, I think the chaos of this will end up, despite that it makes it different, and that in and of itself is interesting. I think the fact that it has not got that kind of pulled down, stripped down to basic fundamentals that those other shooters have, the fact that it is not stripped down, it does have these like layers of weirdness and destructibility and chaos, I think will kind of hamper it casually and competitively. I assume it will be free though when it comes out, so it's gonna get some sort of audience. It's gonna get, people are gonna try it. So, maybe they'll have fixed a lot of these things by then. Maybe the destructibility will be a little more organized, like not as much of it kind of bundling on top of each other to like push you through the floor or get you caught on geometry every 5 seconds. And then, you can scrap everything I've said. Well, you can scrap everything I've said anyway, like, try it out, see if you like it. There's going to be another, there's going to be another way to play this game soon. I would assume for free. Again, I figure this game has to come out for free with the model and the kind of games that it is, the competitive shooterness and just how kind of the games market is for those sorts of things now. But that's going to be it in terms of as this one final look. I'm glad that we could also get a win here. I've had a few losses in between, but it's just kind of interesting that both videos have had wins in them, despite the fact that I'm not very good at the game. So there's another grain of salt to take anything I say with, is that, I'm not great, but I can totally see how the way that the different characters play and the different abilities and all those things that I actually think are quite good, and it's an element of the game that are fun. I can totally see how someone could be really, really good at those things. Someone being really good at the grappling hook, really good with, the sword, the sledgehammer, like the kind of crazy ways that you could build up your team, and how communication will be very key to it. But that's going to be it for this video. Thank you very much for joining me. And if you are interested in kind of getting my opinion on other games, we play a lot of games around here, so you could look down below, and if you're at this point, you know whether or not you want to subscribe or whether or not you want to like the video, right? So I will leave that decision entirely up to you. But no matter what, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one.